Testing, testing, 1, 2. Testing, testing, 1, 2. All right, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome back. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year. Let me just make sure.
All right.
Awesome. Just wanted to make sure because the last live stream, my audio were acting up. I figured out after the fact, but today I'm making sure. So that's why you probably heard my double voice right there. Today we're going to be diving into wholesale real estate step by step. Already, I also have some news to cover. Okay. Obviously, it's market close right now. So yes, let me be clear. Today, I'm going to be covering wholesale real estate step by step, the particular steps that goes into the whole thing and how you can make money from home. It's a brand new year, so we might as well just do a quick refresher. And also, if you have questions, please, I know for the most part you watch this as a rebroadcast. Use the comment area and the chat box and things like that and take advantage of it. We do most of our training on the inside, but also we try to cover as much as possible here depending on what we're dealing with. But YouTube is not our main platform, or Facebook to be precise. But welcome to the brand new year 2022. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We started the year off on the right foot, and I hope that you're here to take full advantage of what we have to go. With any further ado, let's get started. All right, great. So let me go ahead and just share my screen. Let's dive in to some of the stuff we have going on. We use a software here called PropStream, and if you want to access a 7 days free trial, make sure you go through EmpireBigData.com. You're going to see me sharing more and more training about this as we move through the year. So this is a software that you won't be able to avoid using. This is what the platform look like. So we're going to be coming back here to show you wholesale real estate step by step. We're going to be doing that. But in the meanwhile, the market just closed, and there's some really cool information I wanted to share with you. Let me see here. Tyler, hey, hello, Ola. I registered for my myEmpirePRO school. Absolutely fantastic, Tyler. I did see your name. I can't wait to jump on the coaching call with you. All right, awesome. That's awesome. All right, so before we get into wholesale real estate step by step, I figured that I should also go through the market, because we kind of like come live 4 p.m. Mondays and Thursdays for now. I figure we should just go ahead and go through the market close and show what's going on in the market at large. I'm talking about the stock market and for United States. That way we're in touch with what's going on, because that's how I feel on the pulse of the market personally. And I figure we should just do it together. Today is my father's birthday, January 3rd. I just seen that, so I just make sure I mention that. So obviously, if you pay attention to the market, Tesla is on the radar today. See, anytime I see the name Tesla, right, what I see is the electric car market personally. It's going to be huge. Is the next wave, is the future. And that's what I see. I don't see Tesla, I see the future. So anybody who is on the front end of that, who is invested in Tesla, is probably going to be taking advantage of that, provided they have a long-term mindset in mind, right? Provided they're thinking long-term. Listen, I'm sure there's a skill set to trade Tesla and make boatloads of money up front. Most people will not be able to do that. That's why the market operates the way it operates. Okay. Just not a few weeks ago, I was exposed to Kona. Kona is a Hyundai brand, and that's basically an electric car as well. So you're going to start seeing a lot of direct and indirect competition. What that means is money. Okay, both in the long term but also in the short term. But if I were you, If you're an average person like me, meaning you don't have any special talent or anything like that, you're just another man who wants to take advantage of the different waves in the market, then you definitely want to be playing these games long term. The only thing I will be betting on short term is my education, meaning yourself, your skill set, learning how to build a business in this time and age, learning how the market operates on a day-to-day basis, having something you can sell, some kind of services, some kind of product that you can sell to the regular person. Now, if you're trying to trade the market and you want to go with high speed and trade in and out, just understand that it requires a certain level of skill set. It's highly likely you're going to lose money. Okay. The reason why I don't really talk about losing money when you invest in yourself, meaning you invest in your education, you invest in coaching, mentorship, is because the worst thing that can happen is that you're learning a lesson. Okay. But when you approach the marketplace with the get rich mindset thing, that means you're not really investing in you, right? You're investing in hopefully the market being able to carry you very quickly to heights, right? And we know based on data that that's very highly unlikely, and you're basically riding a wave that for the most part moves downwards. Okay, so Tesla highlights a trophy case quarter. The EV giant delivered 308 electric cars in the fourth quarter of last year. Okay, so we also know that the market, the car market, they're playing a game, right? The government is playing some kind of games with the car market. If you've tried to purchase a car recently, you will notice that there is not a lot of new cars out there. There's a lot of pre-owned situations, and those pre-owned are basically overpriced right now. Okay, so today the theme you're going to hear a lot here, even as we talk about wholesaling step by step, is the idea of underpriced and overpriced commodity products, services in the marketplace. And if you're going to make money in this game, it's going to be your ability to be able to read the marketplace for either it's underpriced or it's overpriced. So because the government is pushing some type of agenda, you may see that new cars are nowhere to be found. You will see the car dealers playing games with you, and they will say things like, hey, there's no cars, you have to put some money down in order to secure a car. What they're trying to do is they're trying to create a market. Okay, now you represent the market. You showed up, and they're telling you that there's no car in the market, right? So that's a game. There's some truth to it, but it's also a game because again, the idea is to create some kind of demand, right? So if there's less supply in the marketplace, demand tends to go in the opposite direction, meaning it goes up high, and then that creates a frenzy. It creates prices goes up when demand goes up, if everything else were equal. And when there's less supply, the prices also goes up. You can see the same thing playing a role in the real estate market right now, right? So if they talking about 308 electric cars in the fourth quarter, well above what was expected. Now remember, I just said something. I said everything else being equal, right? So obviously, if there's more demand for electric cars, right, then there's less supply, right? Then the price goes up, right? But then the effect on the stock market in terms of Tesla or any electric cars trendsetters out there, what is the effect, right? If experts, if they say, hey, there's going to be 250 at least electric cars, and Tesla delivers 300, right? Basically, when it comes to demand and supply, we're not talking about the end product now. We're talking about the stock itself, right? The shares in Tesla. It tells us that Tesla is they over delivered, and that puts hope in Tesla. That makes us believe in Tesla and Tesla's ability to be able to create enough product for the market, and that's a good thing for investors, right? So that's the reason apparently why Tesla is making the news today. All right, there's another news that I have here for Tesla. Actually, this is the, we're going to come back to this. Shares of Tesla continue to jump on Monday. This is the first day of the year too, so that's a good outlook for the year. Not again, think about it. It's all emotions, right? And any market operates the same way, right? So whatever facts and data you're looking at, you always want to make sure that it's indicating, right? It's an indicator of people's emotions, because when we say market, that's essentially people's emotions, okay? Continue up on Monday, a day after electric vehicle maker beat fourth quarter. Same story, right? The stock closed up at 13%. All right, so the same news, okay? So anytime expectations outperforms, the actual delivery or performance outperforms expectations, everybody goes into a frenzy. They start, there are too many people that don't do their own work. They depend on this kind of news, and it's still going to be ups and downs. So speaking of ups and downs, let's look at it right here. So you can see in February 2000, January, there was a rally here in 2021, right? Same kind of rally, but then it crashed and basically never made the market. Why did it crash in 2021? I'm sure there was a news that happened too. But anyway, in the last one day, you see that 13% there. So this is why I have to stress long term. When you're coming into the game of entrepreneurship, you're coming into the game of entrepreneurship in general, including wholesale real estate, you always have to think long term. As you can see here, my chart is on 1 year. Okay, so when I say long term, I'm not delusional and saying, hey, just 5 years or just all overall. No, there's still got to be some time on it, but you don't want to be short-sighted, right? Short-sighted is if I go and look at 1 day like this, right? You see there's a rally, and then I can go crazy and say, whoa, it's going up, right? But if you look at 5 year, that's 5 year, it's still going up, right? Long term, we know it's going to go up. But if you look a little bit mid-term, long term to mid-term, you can see that in the last 1 year, it hasn't, like, it was at what, $800, something like that here, high of $900, right? But then for a long time, right, up to not too long ago, November, right, it rallied up to 1200 and then it crashed again up to last week to 938. If people came in here and they thought it was rallying in October and then it crashed, right now the emotions are taking over their mind, right? And they're like panicky, and they probably sold off along with this sell-off. When you see it crash like this was actually a sell-off. These are people panicking and selling off. And you can see now, fresh, brand new year, there's a rally here, and some people are gonna, they're gonna get in right now and be like, okay, Tesla, and then they're gonna try to take their money out when it crashes again in 3 months' time. Don't play that kind of game. That's my warning for you. At the very minimum, from what I'm seeing here, you want to have a 5-year outlook. If you like what you're seeing with Tesla, then you shouldn't be putting money in it if you're not willing to leave your money in there for 5 years, right? Now, if you're trying to be a trader, there's a skill set behind that, then that's a different ball game altogether. You basically want to ride the waves and ride it both direction, right? So that's that right there. All right, so generally today the market has been up. Generally the market has been up today. The market closed up today, the first day of the year. Generally that means good, at least in the short term for people who are traders and stuff like that. But if you know anything, again, like I've said so far about the market, long term the market is always going to go up. You can see that crash because of the pandemic in 2020, and the market ended up, this is Dow Jones I'm looking at right now, ended up beating that crash in November 2020. That's like a whole year. You know what happened the past few years, right? So I can see the market is rallying again. If you're betting against the United States, you will always fail based on what we've seen so far. Okay, so 1 year, 1 year is it's good. It's a good stuff right here, right? As long as you're playing the long-term game. But in the short term, you can see there was a crash that happened here. There was a sell-off that happened not too long ago. That was basically early December, right? So if you stayed in the game, provided you didn't have any short-term need to pull money out, like an emergency or anything like that, right now you're smiling because basically, if you look here, 36,000, just beat it, right? So what was that, like November 8th? Okay, so about 2 months ago, right? So you can see that everyone is happy today. All right, so that was Tesla right there. Tesla, there was a sell-off with Tesla. Tesla is a long-term play. I'm just letting you know right now based off what I can see. Even if you look at short-term here, right? If I look at short-term based off of your 1 year chart, this is not a higher, okay, so it's a higher high of some sort based off of 1 month. But that's one, it broke the record based off of 1 month, one time. That's not enough to basically trade in favor of Tesla. I would need to test this high one more time, maybe a third time before I believe that there's going to be another higher lows and higher highs. That's off of my assessment right now. For me personally, if I was playing this short term, I would need to beat this record from November. All right, I would need to basically go, if it goes past $1,200 within a 2 month period right now, then I would say, hey, I'm willing to bet in favor of Tesla, right? But again, there's a real skill set. There are other indicators you want to look at before you play this kind of game. But based off what I'm looking right now, Tesla is a good long-term play. There are other companies that are in the electric car, save energy type of, sector that you may want to look at. But the lesson here, again, for those of us that are in wholesale real estate, again, short term, yes, you can make good money short term, right? There's real skill set behind it. That means you have to invest in education because you can't fail. The worst case scenario is that you will learn a lesson for every time something like that happens. Like I said, I'm still going to go into the step-by-step wholesale real estate here and see how this applies, right? We're playing the short-term game, but there's skill set that goes into it. See, if you buy real estate long-term, 20 years, 30 years, you can't fail. You're positioned to keep that property, to be long on the game, right? And then, but there are ways to actually play this game in a way that you can make money short term, okay? And that's what we talk about here when it comes to wholesale, short sale. There's also disadvantage to that. There's a lot of people that come into the wholesale real estate game. They make their first $20,000, $30,000. They get overly happy. They spend all that money on living life as opposed to find ways to use the same skill set to build their own personal portfolio. And then 2 years, 3 years later on, and then the market crashes. As you can see, a market can crash. If the stock market crashes, it will affect real estate market and vice versa, right? Because again, everyone is playing the emotional game, right? People are looking for some kind of confidence, and then they put more money in it. So there basically is always a lagging indicator as opposed to being able to see ahead of the curve, right? So the best way to play the game is to play a diversified game. Have diversity in how you think, diversity in how you think about the marketplace, how you think about business. There are times that playing the short term works, there are times that playing the long term works, and you just want to have a mix and be able to read the market from that place. Okay, so that's it right there. Let's see, Dow Jones jumped 200 points. So they're saying 200 points. That was actually a little bit less than 1%. Okay. Stock rose on Monday as investors began the new year. So think about it right now. There's also the hype of a new year. So a lot of people are, their outlook on a brand new year generally is positive, right? Optimistic, right? You want to be aware of that. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you want to be aware of that. There's nothing wrong with being optimistic about the market. There's everything wrong with it if you're naive about what that means, right? Usually what that means is that somebody is dumping all their money into some kind of game and they are going to lose money short term because, a lot of time they will say something else out of their mouth, but their action speaks otherwise. Okay. So definitely want to be careful there. Okay. Betting the economy, stocks rose on Monday, began the new year by betting the economy could overcome the latest surge in COVID cases and lifted. I don't want to say that word just for the algorithm, but I'm just going to say it. Okay, not worried about that. Apple shares gained to become the first company ever with $1 trillion. That was another news that I have here. See that headline? Apple becomes the first U.S. company to reach 3 trillion market cap. Okay, that's something you can bet in favor of, right? But again, long term. Okay, Apple just didn't get here overnight. Now, Apple stays undefeated. Okay, I use a lot of Apple products. I am a Apple head. If you kick against that, I think you're a Apple hater, generally speaking. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. If you don't use an iPhone and it's not a second phone, your only phone is not an iPhone, I think you're an Apple hater. It is what it is. I don't want to hear anything else. Okay, you don't have to admit to that. I don't expect you to admit to that. Okay, if you have a second phone and one phone is Android and the other one is Apple, I can understand that. But if your only phone is not an Apple phone, you are an Apple hater. It is what it is. It's okay. It's not a crime to be a Apple hater. Okay, as you can see, yeah, you're an Apple hater. Okay, Apple briefly hit a market cap of 3 trillion during the intraday. Okay, yeah, okay, so that's the short term, and they made that a news headline. Now, if you read this news headline and you ran and dumped like $2,000 in it, and then you didn't pay attention to the intraday part, right? That means there was probably a trade-off. Let's look at the chart here for one day. All right, let's see. Let me refresh. There's probably a trade-off. All right. That's one day. Okay, so I can't see it. This is 1 day, 1 year chart. Okay, because the market is closed right now. That's why, I guess. But anyway, so if we look at 1 year, you can see it just. If I look at this, I'm looking at. All right, it tested that high 3 times. This is probably a good time to buy if I was buying and I was playing the day trading game. Okay, I see a test of the 179 right there, another test of the 179. We could just call that 180, right? And today it just hit it too. There's probably going to be, and I'm looking at this indicator down here for volume. The volume is kind of low, so if enough volume comes in tomorrow, you can see the volume is low, the relative volume, that is, right? This is like at the end of today, which is already past 33 minutes right now, would have been a perfect time to buy some shares or to bet in favor of Apple, okay, for short-term play, right? But that's only if you have the skill sets. Please do not take that as a financial advice. That's what I would do if I were you, and I have the skill sets to day trade. Okay, now is based off what I'm seeing here, there's higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, right? What do I mean by that? This is a low, there's a higher low, there's a higher low, higher low. That means it's trending upwards. The same thing, higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, right? And this is another higher high, right? So betting against Apple right here would not make any sense on the 1 year chart, right? It just wouldn't make any sense. That's like gambling against your own life. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, all right, so even longer term, 5 years, this thing keeps going up. There was a crash obviously in last year. That crash has barely touched anything, right? All right, so yes, so Apple has hit $3 trillion in let's see here, let me refresh. Let's see the market cap at market close. Market cap 2.986. Okay, so the first company ever in the United States. That's a big deal, you know. So one of the things that you need to learn how to celebrate in business is like little wins here and there. You need to learn how to celebrate. See how they celebrated this in the headline without saying it's intraday. You want to get in the position in your business where you're able to celebrate little wins, right? Let's see here. You want to get in a position where you're celebrating Little wins. Let me see here. Let's see. Ike Budo. Hey, bro, Ike Budo. I'm not sure. I think that's an Igbo name. Nigerian. Hey, bro, I still watch your network marketing videos. They were raw and unreal. That's interesting. I haven't done a network marketing video in let me see, since 2000, and it's got to be 2000 and minimum 16. That's 5 years ago. But that's interesting. I'm sure you can. I'm happy you can find some value in those. When I was playing with network marketing, I definitely always came from a very real place. I never fell for the gimmicky, rah overall, just religious type of behavior. That's probably why, I never went all in. I couldn't. And I'll be honest with you. I think network marketing is a great place to learn leadership, to learn some ground zero type of business skills, right? But at some point, you hit like a cap, and you just have to break loose and just understand that we're in a different world, and information is readily available. Information against most network marketings work directly against them because everyone has access, and there's a lot of people in the game misbehaving because they never really learned the skill set of business, right? They came in because somebody was able to sell them on the emotional aspect of things, and they wanted to make money overnight and things like that. But I'm still here, so I'm glad you made it here. We're talking about real estate today. I still think it's a great place where you can start off, I guess, but there's too many negative news against the world of network marketing and MLMs in general. And knowing what I know, my background being in real estate, there's no way I could be authentic and stay in that world. But I can still teach anyone from any network marketing, real estate, any type of business marketing, because that's primarily, outside of teaching, that's primarily what my skill set is, teaching and marketing, right? So the byproduct of that is my business skill set, business acumen, being able to, because I've seen people come and go, just like network marketing, I see them come and go, and because I've seen a lot of those, I have a good pause on why businesses fail, right? And that's why we're talking about this kind of stuff, right? So thank you for stopping by, Ike Budo, and shout out to K Business Podcast as well. All right, great. So make sure you stop by from time to time. Please make sure you're giving the video a thumbs up to help us spread the word even more. All right, so Apple hit 3 trillion. That's what we're talking about, right? So let's read a little bit more into this before dropping back under the mark shortly afterwards. Apple broke the barrier when its share price hit $182. So I couldn't see that on this chart right here, but apparently it hit $182, right? Let me hit that 1 year again. Right, I was saying 179, but that was actually 182 at one point that it touched, right, the high of the day. So I would definitely, at this point right now, if you've always looked for a nice spot where you can put some money in Apple, with an outlook on 5 years, right, this is be a good starting point. Okay, now 3 months from now, if it crashes like what happened here, don't come back and say I advised you, because it's only 3 months, it's not 5 years, right? That's the same mindset you want to have about real estate or any type of game you're in. You got to have a 5 years outlook, okay? You got to put your head down and go in 5 years. But I was saying you got to look for all little mini spots where you can celebrate little successes, right? So for example, if you're in wholesale real estate, one of the reasons I want to teach you step by step is because each one of those steps or stages represent places where you can celebrate a little success, right? If you wait, the last stage is to close a deal disposition, right? If you wait until you hit that last stage before you celebrate success, there is a very good chance you will quit before you hit that stage. And that's why majority of people that come into the game never made it. They never made it to their first deal. And many people that made it to their first deal never made it to the second deal. Okay, so I've just in my first 24 months in the game, I started back in 2005. I did more than 30 deals. So that's coming from somebody who's done over and over again. And I can tell you the mindset behind most people's motives. Most people's motives, they get started because they wanted to make money. That's nothing wrong with that. I started that same way, but I found out quickly that I wasn't going to make money. So I started my first seminar was 2004 December. I didn't close my first deal until 2005 December. So if that was a whole year, for many reasons, I was doing my master's degree, I was in school, I was also distracted by some other IT stuff, things like that, right? So but this is how life works. That life will distract you, things that authentically you're trying to do because you're trying to make money, but it requires a certain level of focus. And if you don't have that focus, then that shows up in the form of time until you close your first deal. The only one key that is non-negotiable is consistency. So either you're doing it quickly or you're doing it 1 year before you close your one deal. The one non-negotiable thing in all of this is consistency. If you're consistent, if you show up every day, you will close your first deal. You're going to be tested on your second deal because it may not come as fast or it may come way too quick, and it's a test, right? So at the end of the day, you want to create a system for yourself where you're able to show up every day, because human beings in general are not capable of consistency. That's just what it is. I didn't say that. It's something I've seen over. Human beings in general, we're not capable of consistency. We're not capable of showing up every day just because, unless there's some kind of incentive. We show up to work every day because there's a paycheck every Friday or every other Friday, right? But when you're trying to build a business, that's not you're not going to make paycheck on next Friday, right? Very likely not. And if you did, it would be a setup for failure, because the next check after that is going to take much longer, and you're going to feel like, oh, it doesn't work, I just got lucky, right? And the truth is that no, you didn't just get lucky. It's just a matter of consistency. If you work for a company right now, the same thing is also true, right? That company, whoever started that company, went through the same test, right? They went through a lot of ups and downs, and it wasn't easy. Okay, it wasn't really easy. Okay, so just wanted to make sure that you get that. All right, so let's get back to here. The milestone is mostly symbolic, but it shows investors remain bullish on Apple stock and its ability to grow. The ability to grow is what they're betting on right now. Apple was up, obviously. Again, don't forget, it's the beginning of the year. You have to factor that in. So people are a little bit more optimistic than normal. But if you look at the trend into 1 year, well, it's kind of aligning with what we know about the Apple stock. All right, Apple was up over 2% during the intraday, trading on Monday to a price per share just under 182. Apple showed annual growth across all of its product categories in its fourth quarter's earnings. Okay, the products. See, one of the problems that I had with network marketing is that a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them did not have solid backing products. A lot of the products they're selling is actually the business opportunities. That is the definition of a Ponzi scheme and a scam. Okay. Sometimes there are products that look like products, but they're just camouflage products, and if you've been around long enough, you just be like, this is not a real product. The actual product is the fact that the people that are buying it get to sell the same product and over. It's just not sustainable for especially the individuals. Some companies can be around for ages, by the way, playing the game. They have enough money, billions of dollars, they can fight cases in court. I'm talking about companies like Herbalife, Amway, and things like that. But for individuals, it's like they're running it's the brand new rat race. It's the new age rat race. You're running a rat race, and you're basically working against yourself when you don't have a product that can sustain itself with or without somebody investing in it. Like, most people using the Apple product are not people that will invest into the stock, and that's what makes it sustainable, precisely. Okay, if most people buying into the Apple products are people that want to invest into the business, that is a failing business. Okay, you need what they call the mass adoption, meaning even if they're not interested in the business of it, they want that product. And I'm not talking about indirect competition. I'm talking about that particular product. Like for example, in this case, I'm talking about iPhones. I'm talking about iPads. I'm talking about iMacs, the MacBook, and things like that. People that are just interested, not because they're interested in the company, but because they're interested, they love the product, right? So while the iPhone is still the biggest sales driver, as who we're talking, you see why you're an Apple hater if you don't have an iPhone. Only if you live in the United States, by the way. If you live in a third world country, this is not applicable to you. An iPhone is $700. Sorry, it's not it's $800. iPhone 13 is $800. I just got this last week. All right. Apple services business, this is a big deal, grew 25%. So even outside of direct consumer products or obvious consumer products, they're growing, right? This is what people are betting on. Okay, that's why you see that chart the way you've seen it. So with that being said, I think right about now, by the way, if you want more structured training and things like that, you heard Tyler earlier. He just joined. We have people joining every day. You want that? You want to make sure you go ahead and download my 2 free books and then join the free masterclass, okay, at www.realestatemoneysecrets.com. You can see that on the screen. As a matter of fact, I forgot to put on the scroller. All right. You can see that right there. So take advantage of that. All right. Let's see here. So I'll be back in about 30 seconds and then we're going to dive into the step-by-step of what it takes to build a wholesale real estate. This is what's going to allow you to measure many successes and celebrate many successes in the game. That way you can build yourself all the way to success. All right. So, like I said, the software I'm using is it's called PropStream, and you can find it at EmpireBigData.com. You can sign up for a free 7 days trial and practice everything I'm showing you. Okay. The step-by-step of wholesale real estate is actually pretty simple. I'm going to run through it real quick. You can see right there is data. Step 1 is data. Okay, if the idea of learning the stages is so you can know how to celebrate mini successes, because if you're not able to celebrate mini successes, there's a very good chance you will fail and you will stop before you hit any kind of success at all if you don't have a proper idea of what those stages are, right? But once you understand each stage data, you can, again, like I said, data at you get all the access to every data you want at EmpireBigData.com. Is how you have access, immediate access, so you can start practicing even before you pay a dime for the software, right? I don't know how much you have to pay for it right now because obviously they test different prices at different time, but it's absolutely worth. For less than $3, $5 a day, you have access to all the data you need for United States real estate. You can do this business from anywhere in the world, okay? Anywhere in the world you can operate this business, but I'm precisely teaching you United States real estate and nothing else, okay? I don't know a lot of the local, cultural, traditional aspects and factors that goes into real estate in other local markets, right? So, but the beauty about this is that you can absolutely run this business virtually from home as long as you have access to decent internet connection, a laptop, okay? A smartphone would not be a bad idea, right? And that's it, okay? Internet connection and a laptop, okay? And if you have that, you can run this business. There are many ways that you get to serve the industry, and the key thing here is that you're serving, okay? You're serving a whole lot of people. You're serving us with leads, okay? You're giving high quality leads into the United States real estate game. Okay, high quality leads you're feeding into United States real estate game. Realtors, that means real estate agents, okay, licensed real estate agents, attorneys, real estate attorneys, okay, appraisers, that means people that value properties, that evaluate the value of a property, inspectors, right? There's so many professionals, plumbers that get to eat just because you chose to follow this lane, this thing I'm about to share with you right now. Okay, so the first step is data. Once you know how to pull a piece of data using this software, you can celebrate that, and you're like 1/5 through the game. Okay, you're 1/5 through the game. So there's data, there is contact. The same software will allow you to be able to pull the contact information of the data of the properties, right? Property owners that this data is associated with or are associated with, right? And then leads, meaning somebody has shown interest in selling a piece of property. What are we looking for? We're looking for motivated sellers, okay? There are two types of people we deal with in the game. We're dealing with motivated sellers and we're dealing with investors, cash buyers. As a wholesaler, you're dealing with two types of people, right? You're dealing with motivated sellers, you're dealing with investors who have the cash to buy those properties. I am guessing that for an average person, you probably don't have the money to buy a whole real estate property in the United States. We're talking about $5,000 anywhere up to $2 million, $20 million properties, right? So you don't have that kind of money. If you did, you wouldn't need to be coming to learn wholesale real estate. I beg to differ with that last sentence, because actually wholesale real estate is a real skill set you can use to build your personal real estate portfolio if you are actually an investor. But I'm just saying, most people are probably coming here because you're looking for a way to make money in real estate, because you don't have the money, big money capital to invest, or you don't have good credit. Wholesale real estate is the perfect game for that, because what you're doing is that you're finding motivated sellers who want to sell a property that is basically underpriced, okay? Underpriced. You're looking for people who need to get rid of a piece of property for pennies on the dollar. For 20 cents, 40 cents on the dollar is perfectly fine, right? Ideally, we're looking for 65 cents on the dollar. What that means is that 65% of what the property is actually worth after repair on the market is what we're looking for. And then that 65%, we have to adjust it for whatever it's going to cost to repair it. What does that mean? Let's say a property is worth $100,000 on any given market, like today, right? It's worth $100,000. You want to go in there and say, hey, are you open to selling your property? If they said yes, that is an interest. That's when a lead was generated. That's stage number 3, right? But wait, I just went past 3 stages really so quickly, right? Very fast. I went by 3 stages, right? So it's not that hard. It's just that, again, we need to break it down, because sometimes it can feel hard. It's just very simple, but sometimes it can feel hard, and at least you're able to trace your path and say, wait, did I generate data? Okay, did I pull the contact information? Okay, did I create an outreach? Okay, an interested seller was discovered. A lead was generated. If you're able to generate leads over and over and over again, you will eat for the rest of your life. You will never be hungry again. That's it. Like, even never mind stage 4, stage 5. In any business, if you're able to generate quality leads on a daily basis, right? You don't have to worry about eating or food on your table anymore, because some people's bread and butter is the leads. They know how to turn these leads into real life purchase contracts, right? Well, forget that. I'll teach you how to turn it to real life purchase contract, okay? That purchase contract is basically a right for you to purchase the property. Yes, you don't have the money. You went into this with the intentions to lock up a property at a price way under the market value, 65% or lower, right? Minus the cost of repair, estimated cost of repair. So no, you don't have to be a contractor to be able to estimate you just have to, a simple tool. There's a simple tool. You could write this down right now. I'm going to put it right here, okay? That I've created. It's actually free. Dealestimator.com. I'll put that here so I can easily pull it up in the future. Okay, it also links to everything else, okay? This right here, dealestimator.com. Oh, let me fix the spelling. Dealestimator.com is a free tool that will allow you to be able to estimate repairs of any property from anywhere in the world, anytime you want to. Okay, and there's a little formula that it uses to again, it's an estimate, right? So you can give an offer, right? And if they accept the offer, you now have what they call a purchase contract, a right to purchase a property. That right to purchase the property, now stage 4 has been executed. That's the contract stage right there, right? Now you have what they call the equitable interest in the property, right? So let's go through this again. Data, property addresses, and owners information, bulk. Okay, you can get that with EmpireBigData.com, PropStream, the software, right? And then stage 2, you use the same software to pull their contact information using a process called the skip tracing. Okay, skip tracing is basically a system that goes and find the contact information, okay, like phone numbers, so you can text message, or you can use text message, you can use direct phone call. Some people cold call, some people direct text message, but this thing goes directly to human being's best friend. This is something that everyone carries to bed, they carry to the bathroom to go poop. It goes directly to this, right? And when it goes here, they say, hey, I'm calling about a property, 123 Main Street. Yes, what about it? I was wondering if you would like to sell the property. Maybe, what's your offer? The conversation has started, an interest was generated, a lead was generated, and if you have a conversation, you're able to negotiate something that we cover in the training, in the back end, realestatemoneysecrets.com, right? Then you're able to lock in a contract at a price that basically investors will kill for. Okay, you get what I'm saying? So that's the idea. You're able to secure these deals. Investors do not have the luxury of time the way you probably have luxury of time. Okay, and that's why you're extremely valuable in the game. You bring all these leads and contracts to the table. Investors, so let's say, for example, the property that's worth $100,000, you were able to, it needs about $10,000 worth of repair. So you estimated you can't pay more than $65,000 minus the $10,000 of repair. Now you can pay $55,000. But you're smarter than that. You say, hey, how much are you looking to get rid of the property? Say, well, if I don't know, what offer do you have? You say, listen, if we close in 10 days, if you close very quickly in 10 days, all cash, you walk away, you don't have to worry about repairing it, you don't have to worry about closing costs, anything like that, would you accept $35,000? Remember, you could pay up to 55, right? But if they said 35, are you crazy? No. So tell me, what are you looking for? I mean, maybe, I don't know, if you have 45, we'll do the deal and keep it moving, right? If that happens, you just hit a jackpot, because you can actually afford to pay up to $55,000 for it. So you turn around, you lock up a contract for 45, right? And then you go back into the same software, PropStream. This software right here, let me show you. Let's go back to show PropStream, right? You go back into the same software, right? And you go find a cash buyer. So let's look for a city around the nation. Let's go to New Orleans, right? New Orleans, Louisiana. That will be, let's find a property of the day from Louisiana. New Orleans. Let's see. New Orleans, Louisiana. Okay. All right. So you can see Louisiana is a pretty busy market. There's 2,400 properties on the market on the MLS. You can see all of this. You can also see there's 13,000 cash buyers. So you have a contract in your hands that 13,000 people can potentially take away from your hands in exchange for what we call an assignment fee. $5,000 assignment fee. They can afford to pay up to 70% of what it. So let me do the math again for you really quickly. Quick math, okay? A person who wants to buy and fix up this property, the investor can afford to pay up to 70% in most markets. In certain busy markets, they can afford to pay up to 84%, right? That's basically the arbitrage spread that you can make money with. But let's keep it simple. Let's say it's 70%, right? 70%, they can pay up to 70%. What's 70% of $100,000? They can pay up to $70,000 all cost in for that property. You picked up the property for 45. Remember, you picked it up for 45, right? But remember, they have to repair it too for $10,000. Let's say the estimate of repair was off. It was $15,000. And that's possible in this game. It's just a game, right? It's a beautiful game that you can make money from, right? So let's say $15,000. So they can afford to pay $70,000. $70,000 minus $15,000. That's basically what? $55,000. You got it for $45,000. They're happy to give you $10,000 to get that contract away from you. You assign the right to purchase this property. You assign it to them. You assign it to them, to that cash buyer investor for $10,000. You collect $10,000. You keep it moving. You keep marketing. You keep collecting the deals like that. You find a deal that's really good for your own portfolio. You keep it. You don't sell it. Maybe you've done very well for yourself. You fixed your credit. You have some money stuck around. You're able to put some down payment down, and then you start building your own portfolio. You sell some, you keep some, you sell some, you keep some. That is the game right there. Okay. So like I was showing you earlier, this last stage is deal disposition. This is the point where you have to look for buyers, right? You find a willing and able buyer. How do you find a willing and able buyer? Right here in the same software, cash buyers, right? There's cash buyers right here. So if I click, I can click. I set this up this way, but you could literally go here, right? And there are a few ways to find cash buy. You go under here and say where it says quick list choices. You go here and you can click on cash buyers. All of your own software will come with that. You click on that in New Orleans, right? Now you can go back and say, I want only cash buyers from a certain number of dates into the past, right? By the way, the data, I pulled that from here as well. I'll show you that in a second, but I have other videos on this platform that will show you that. And if you want hands-on coaching and structured training, just come right through realestatemoneysecrets.com. Let's see here. So if we go back here, we'll go to property sales, cash buyers. I can say, I only want cash buyers for residential. I only want cash buyer for single and multi-family up to 2-4 families, right? I can scroll down and go to ownership information. I can say last sales date. I want that to be only 1 year into the past. So that will be 2021. We could just put that at that, right? And I can click X on this. I have 645 cash buyers that I can find. So let's just make this, let's see, the sales price, cash, these are all cash buyers, right? So let's just make this the property of the day. Let's do that. We're on the property of the day segment right now. We have 2810 O'Reilly Street, New Orleans, right? Let's look at that. You could tell that this property was brand newly renovated recently. You can see the interior is brand new work, right? You can see that. So that's basically investors, right? They're the one that buy. This is the person you're looking for. Because again, retail market most likely will not want that property because it needs $10,000 worth of work, right? Look at that. All right. So that's the property. It's a simple property. Somebody just renovated it. I don't even think the sidings are new, right? You can see that property newly renovated. That's probably a new heating system, right? What are you looking for? You're looking for the cash buyer's information. The cash buyer information right here is Jupiter Property Manager LLC. Okay, you could literally take this information. We could go straight into Google and go see what we come up with. We can see some information. Open Corporate on opencorporate.com, right? Not only that, you can see this information. You can see the owner of the information from opencorporate.com. Give you a quick tips. Just Google the LLC right away. There are also, once you Google it like this, you now know that you can always come back to opencorporate.com and search for other LLCs around the nation, right? You can literally do that. You can click here and say companies, officers. You can scroll through here. It says New York, Puerto Rico. These are different states. It's probably the same owner, but they may have deals going on in different. Okay, I see Missouri. Okay, we're looking for those in New Orleans, but again, it could be any one of these states, right? Anyway, so that's one way to look at it, right? But I also see a direct website here of Jupiter. You can see a LinkedIn, right? Property manager at Jupiter Management. Okay, you could reach out to those people and say, hey, I got a property right next to where you just purchased a property the other day. You have information, you have the sales information. This was their cash information from June 24. They bought this for $195. They just sold it, I think. Well, it's worth $320. 27 now, right? No, I don't think they sold it yet, but they purchased this property for 195 from an REO, right? Maybe they don't buy this property from you, but you can create a relationship. They can buy other properties from you in the future. So you want to keep this data safe and sound, so you can always reach out back to them for every deal that you have on your table. Say, hey, I got this property, you want to take a look? You send them a text message. Again, you can run this business from a phone, from a laptop, as long as you have internet connection, preferably a laptop. Okay, if you don't have money to buy a $200-$300 laptop, you are probably not ready for entrepreneurship. You probably should find a job first. Okay, just being real with you. Okay, all right, so that's that right there. But again, you can select this and you can add this to a list. You can download the list and process this information in bulk. Okay, another thing that you can do is, I'm going to clear all. Let's go back to New Orleans, right? And I'm going to go to a quick list called to find cash buyers. You go to a quick list called the flippers, right? And the flippers is basically, click close on this. It's 289 people on this list. These are agents that have worked with cash buyers, okay? These are actual agents that have worked with cash buyers. So what happens is that these are properties and what you're looking for. So instead of having to skip trace or basically find the contact information for the cash buyers, you have direct access to put food on the table of this agent just by simply going through that quick list called the flipper. You go to under MLS details, you scroll through here, you can see the agent's phone number, you can see the direct email address, and you can email Tony and say, Tony, I noticed you represented a buyer who purchased a property for cash. I am a professional investor in the game. I have a deal in my hands. See, I never use the word wholesaler. I try not to, okay? I have a deal in my hands I don't think I want. I want to know if one of your buyers will want the deal. Then Tony will say, hey, send me some more information about this deal, right? And then, Tony will be happy to share. Why? Because Tony is about to make 3%, 6% commission. Again, you're bringing food to the table of a lot of people that will be happy to do business with you, right? You'll be happy to do business with you. But again, we're social beings, so you have to learn the right languages. There's certain ways to say certain things. If you go there and say, I'm a wholesaler, if Tony has bad experience with wholesalers in the past, he's a human being like everybody else. He may say, no, I'm not interested. But if you use languages like, that's a tip I'm sharing with you right now. If you languages, hey, I'm an investor, I got this deal, I don't think I want it, I want to know if your buyer will be interested in it. You have somebody who will purchase a cash deal through you in June for a property, blah blah blah. You can send an email. It's just, again, you're showing up as a professional, you understand the game, and again, it's okay to make mistakes. Whatever I'm sharing with you right now, I learned from my mistakes, okay? So just so you know, okay? All right, so that's the step-by-step game right there. Again, let me do a quick revision. By the way, okay, so let me show you real quick. Again, I said data is step one, right? Data is step one. If we go back here, the first data is data of motivated sellers, right? The last video, the last session that I did, you want to make sure you go watch that video completely, last live session that I did. I think it's called Wholesalers for Beginners, something like that. I covered how to pull up data here in details, but also on the inside, I covered that even in better details if you join our membership, if you join our coaching program, right? So, but let's say I was looking for, like right here, this is, I saved this as a preset, but when you sign up for EmpireBigData.com, right? Let me just grab a quick water, okay? Be right back in 30 seconds. All right, so as far as this first step, which is data, we could go here again. There's tons of quick list here, right? Or a lot of this represent motivated sellers. Remember I said in the beginning, we're dealing with motivated sellers, meaning somebody that has a property they need to get rid of. I'm not talking about somebody that has motivation, like they have money motivation. I got a nice property I want to sell. That person needs to talk to a real estate agent. I'm talking about a person that has a property sitting down there that's not producing, that's basically a burden on their life, and they need to sell. That's what I'm talking about, right? So that kind of persons usually have a vacant property. They may have liens against the property that they don't want. That's basically a burden on the property that's making them lose money. Pre-foreclosure is another one. Auctions is a little bit funny because auctions means that it's already with a government agency. So it's a little bit tricky. If you don't have money to play, don't worry about this. The same thing with bank-owned properties, okay? Cash buyers, we used that earlier. High equity is another list. High equity doesn't mean motivated, but high equity means they've owned it for a long time. It could just be a property that's sitting down there that they haven't thought about in a while. Maybe they inherited the property. Same thing with free and clear. It's very similar. High equity means they own more than 50% of the equity in the property, meaning they owe less than 50% of the equity in the they owe less than 50% of what the property is worth against the property. So their mortgage is less than 50% of the value of the property, okay? Bankruptcy, I would avoid unless you want to. Let me just do this. Let's try this. Let's do bankruptcy, right, in New Orleans. But let's go here under lien and bankruptcy and say suppress all active bankruptcy, right? Like that should be under here. Suppress all active bankruptcy, right? And when I did that, you see that the list is empty. You can see a preview of the list on the right hand side. Okay, so that's not because when a property is locked in bankruptcy, unless you're willing to wait around and watch it until it's dismissed from bankruptcy, it's not worth your time, because ideally you are a marketer. Okay, there are more than look at this. Look at all these properties that you have to chase after. So you don't have time to be chasing against property that are not available, right? All right, so let's go back here. Active bankruptcy, let's take that. So active bankruptcy, you can see this active bankruptcy on about what, like 177,000 properties, right? But again, I don't have good experience with bankruptcy property on, so avoid it, right? There's also divorce. Divorce represents motivated seller in a lot of times, okay? They divorced, they just need to get rid of the property, get some money out, they're moving on with their lives. They don't want any memories that has to do with that property, right? They're bitter. They're going through real life challenges like many of us sometimes, right? So divorce is another one here. There's 5 properties on a divorce list in New Orleans. You could literally pull the contact of these people. You can send them a letter. See, there's a section here called contacts. Remember the stage 2. You can perform all of your second stage contact right through this software. Skip trace is basically finding the phone numbers and email addresses of these people and then creating a contact with them, creating campaign contact with them. Under help, you will find tons of tutorial videos on how to use the software in addition to the training that I give to you as well. Okay, so my favorite personally is pre-foreclosures, right? And pre-foreclosure has 174 on this list in New Orleans alone. I would chase these people down with everything. Okay, I would chase them down with postcards. Okay, postcards. I would chase them down with phone calls, text messages, until one person calls me and say, yes, I'm interested in talking to you. I may want to sell this property, right? I could go here and filter this list down to high equity. How do I do that? I could go here and say, I want estimated equity percentage. I want it to be minimum of 50%, okay? 50% or higher. And boom, that means these people actually have equity in the property, but yet they're facing pre-foreclosure. That means I have room to play. So if the property is worth, okay, this one says auction, okay, a lot of them are auction. I try to avoid auction. So I can go here and say under pre-foreclosure and say, I only want notice of default. And that emptied out the list, okay? That probably means in New Orleans, right, Louisiana, in that state, it probably means that they go to, after pre-foreclosure, they hit auction very fast, okay? But again, if you're in New Orleans and that's the market you're really interested in, it's okay. You can still go after those people. Some of them may have filed extensions and things like that. Again, how much is it going to cost you to reach out to 115 people by by postcards at like maybe about 25 cents a piece, right? Let's go under campaign here, right? If I go under campaign, I go under, let's see if I can see, I can't see their price point unless I go through the process here. Again, you can set up a new campaign, okay, here by clicking new campaign, right? And you can set the whole thing up. You choose the list that you want to send to, and you see this is 11 list, right? I can say view the list, right? I'm running through it because this is more of a preview of what's possible, okay? But again, everything you need to do can be done through the software. You only need me if you want me to personally, you want to go through my program and you want my step-by-step operations, and you want that to be basically transplanted into your business. That's what you need me for. But everything literally can be done from inside of this software, and you can try out the software for free, and you can make $2,000. You can make $82,000, which is my highest from any type of deal. No, from a deal period. I'm still trying to beat that, but I've made nothing from a deal before too. That happened once because it fell apart. Right? It happens. I've averaged $25,000-$30,000 per deal. So again, it depends on also what part of the country you're coming from. It depends on what part you play in. If you're making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a piece, this is worth it, because again, all you have to do is find your lane, find the part of it that you're really good at, and stick to it and be very good at, and just do that, right? Find the part that you're really good at and stick to it, and then that part brings value to the game, and you make just as much money. Some people will say, what's the difference between being a wholesaler and real estate investor? The only difference is that as a real estate agent, you're representing somebody's interest. You're not allowed to do that unless you're licensed by a state. As a wholesaler, you have equitable interest in the deal. You signed a purchase contract. You had the right to purchase the deal, right? So you're coming in as either a seller or a buyer, and you're assigning your right to another person, right? And no, it's never illegal. Some states have higher regulations than the others. That's the only thing, okay? Some states. So because of that, there's certain states that you can find a video where I said the 5 states to avoid on YouTube. On my platform, just type in 5 states to avoid OLA. It should come up on 5 states to avoid for wholesaling. OLA, it should come up on YouTube on what those 5 states are. But it's only not because it's illegal in those states, because their regulations are a little higher. And obviously, we want you to do this business in a way that's the easiest for you. All right. So again, I come back here on every Monday, 4 p.m. Thursdays for now, unless I have projects going on outside of studio, and then I can't. But for now, I'm trying to make sure that I get you started on the right foot this year. I want to make sure that you are able to plug in. Absolutely. I'm always available for my students. We have a platform where we've created opportunity for you to book a time and take advantage of coaching and stuff like that. And I want you to win. And I'm also collaborating with my students in deal disposition, which can be hard sometimes, depends on what we're dealing with. But I have experience on dealing with cash buyers, investors, and stuff. But I get to make money by partnering with you as well. So I'm not just doing it because I'm some kind of angel. I am, but you get the point. This is a business we're running here, but I want to make money with you. So come on inside, sign up for the software. It's free. Sign up for the free masterclass. It's free. Get the 2 free books. It's free. These are actual real books. You can order them directly as well. So if you're interested, see, these are actual books, right? So if that's what you're interested, you like reading it physically, also audiobook is available as well. But hopefully you've been enlightened today, educated. I will see you on Thursday at 4 p.m. right back right here. And peace.